email addresses, the theme of email addresses like ASCII.ASCII. Maybe this ASCII1 is a new generic level domain names that are 3 letters. Abdelmonem at example.sky, or new top level domain, new generic top level domain name like Abdelmonem at Kenya.Nairobi, something like that. And for ASCII at IDN, uh, like Mark at society.org. Society.org is domain name. It is for Latin script, it's the right side, which is a domain name. So for Unicode at the domain name, it will be considered IDNs for the domain name. But Unicode for the left side of the left to right context email address, it will be considered Unicode. So here, ask it at IDN, it means the domain name of the email addresses is Unicode. Unicode at ASCII it means that the mailbox itself or the account name is Unicode, like the Chinese one at example.com. Unicode at IDN, it means that the mailbox is or account name is Unicode, and the mailbox is intentionalized domain names or have one of the characters at least, which is not considered to be ASCII. So when you say that this domain name is Unicode or this domain name is IDN, at least if you see one of the letters, one of the characters inside this, one of the characters of one of the labels, at least of the domain name as the right side of the mail address, which is not in ASCII script, which is not in Latin script, it will be considered Unicode. For example, here, maybe you have one of the letters of the domain name at the right side of the mail addresses that have umlaut above, German letter or French letter. Unicode at IDN for right to left script, like my language, Arabic language, or Arabic script. As I remember, as I recall, I make a recall what I said before, that there are only one context for the script. There is one context per script. Arabic script, right to left context. Latin script, left to right context. There is no way to mix between different contexts. I mean, you could write the mailbox name in English and the domain name in Arabic. How could the application read this domain name from right to left or from left to right? How could you, as a person, read this domain name from right or to left? You need to consider all of these. So the areas that are affected by universal acceptance are the domain names that are that have short the 3 letters or the short new generic top level domain name, away from the legacy one, away from .com or .net or .org. The new long top level ASCII domain name .engineering, .africa, .jibber, .istanbul, .abu dhabi, and the intentionalized domain names like the Arabic domain names or Chinese domain names or Russian domain names, something like that. And for more address internationalization, we have different theme: ASCII at ASCII, ASCII at IDN, Unicode at ASCII, Unicode at IDN, Unicode at IDN for Arabic script. So before going for the next slide in how to make your application to be universal acceptance, I need to review again the 5 verbs for universal acceptance readiness. The first one, accept. It means that your application could accept the domain name or the email address from the user, putting that enter that domain name or email address into the text field. Maybe it's a web form, or your application itself reads this domain name or email address from a file. As maybe the input for your application is not the user, maybe the input is the file itself. So your application or the developer who makes this application, who read from the user or who read from the text file, should be able to identify these characters and say that it is a valid one and ignore the legacy regular expression or ignore the legacy procedure that says that the only domain name or email addresses should end by .com or .net or .org. The second verb is validate. You need to validate if this domain name exists or not. You need to validate if this email address exists or not. One of the example, first I need to validate that this domain name is already exist. One of the developer will say that I will only validate the top level domain name. For example, business.ke. So the developer will have .ke and search the root zone that already published online. And for sure, this root zones that already published online as the IANA interface from time to time to change. So on the fly, we'll check this root zone if .ke exists or not. If exists, this domain name is valid. If not exists, this domain name is not valid. For email addresses, we'll check the right side if the domain name is ASCII, if the email address is the legacy one, the ASCII email address, we'll check the domain name. If .ke at the end of the email address is already included at the root zone or not. If included, it's a valid. If not included, it's not valid. Other one, no, I need more to be more specific, more than this. I need to check if Kenya or business.ke already exists. So the developer will say that I will try to find the DNS APIs that I could use and search the DNS if business.ke already exists or not. How could it come to handle this? This DNS API have a resolver, have a DNS in behind, have DNS, it will contact two. I mean, the DNS, maybe you could consider it as a pipe that have an input of the domain name. And this pipe will search the DNS that's already published online, will search one of the ISV's DNS to check if business.ke have IP address or not. If high IP address, it's a valid domain name. If not have an IP address, it's not a valid domain name. One thing or other thing the developer could use to validate the email addresses. He will try to send an email or activation code at his email. If the email server that used by your application have a reply or notification or acknowledgement by error that this email not exist, he will return an error to the user, it does not exist. The third criteria for universal acceptance readiness is process. It means that you could try to find one of the features for the data that already entered by the user or already stored inside a file. As I said before, that your manager will ask you, get me all the email addresses for all tourist guides inside Nairobi. So you will try to search for the list of email addresses that end by .nairobi, which is fine. But at this time, you need to check. Your manager will ask you to search by Unicode name or by ASCII name. As if you are trying to search by Unicode name, you need to make the transformation from Unicode to ASCII compatible encoding, the A label. As I said before, that the label for Unicode is called U label. And in order to search the DNS or to store this Unicode inside the DNS, you need to make transformation from Unicode to compatible encoding, which is ASCII compatible encoding, which is called A label. Maybe you need to have this A label first and search inside the zone file and reply with the data. Store, you need to select the proper database. All the databases support UTF-8. Maybe one will be said, why UTF-8? I may use UTF-16. Why not? But actually, UTF-8 consume less storage more than UTF-16. Why do you need to lose a lot of storage to store character by character? So UTF-8 is the recommended one. So all the databases support UTF-8, but you need to be clear that the driver that will be used by your application must be UTF-8 enabled. The time you are not using UTF-8 enabled driver, the data will be collected correctly, but stored in the database not in a proper way. It will be displayed in the database at question mark. The fifth criteria for universal acceptance readiness, the data you wrote must be the data you see, must be the data that is displayed, must be the same. One of the issues here is that you may, for example, copy the domain name that is already in Arabic from one of the links at the internet and try to paste it to me at WhatsApp. It will be displayed as xn dash dash some English characters, which is the A label. How come? I copied it at Arabic word, but now it's an English word. How come? I don't trust this. Skip this. It's a problem. One of the issues. Before I joined ICANN and UEG since 2010. When at the early beginning, there was Internet Explorer. The time you are write the domain name in Arabic and click enter, set the browser, it will be displayed xn-dash.xn-dash, the ASCII compatible encoding of this domain name. What? It is one of the issues that make confusability for the users. It is one of the issues that affect the readiness of this application. Actually, your browser that's currently used at your machine has APIs that collect the domain name in Unicode, the domain name in Arabic that you wrote inside the browser, and they make translation from Unicode, from U label to A label, the ASCII compatible encoding, and the search for at the DNS. Is this A label have a record, have IP address? Yes. Once the DNS reply to your browser by the IP address, the page will be displayed. Otherwise, it's an error. You should take care all about this. You know that the dot you wrote inside your keyboard for African differs than the one used by Chinese people. The look for the dot at Chinese keyboard is somehow like small circle. So how could you handle this? How could your application that you developed try to make the email addresses split it into pieces? What is the delimiter? Dot, open dot, like circle, or dot like used here? You need to make unique goal about all of this. Maybe you could say that if I found an email address that have open dot that is used by Chinese people, I will change it to close the dot, the normal dot. Maybe other developer, no, I will use as it is, and I will make some AI, and my application is smart enough to detect that it's Chinese email address, so I will use it. It's one of the points that could be there. Maybe, for example, one of the issues, I say maybe it is you copy a link that have Unicode domain name, that have Unicode labels from the address bar or at any website, any website contains already published, and try to paste it inside your Word inside your Microsoft Word. What? It will not be displayed as you saw it before at the website. It will be displayed at xn dash dash. The compatible encoding of the Unicode one, the A label, is one of the configurability issues. For example, let's go for CCTLD, country code to level domain name. I think it's for Kenya. It's managed by our colleague, my colleagues from Kenya. Imagine that there are sorry, for .ke, for example. Imagine that you have domain name, for example, societe.ke. How it could be accepted? Consider that the CCTLD country code top level domain name a registry of .ke that managed by Kinnick. How could the registry or the CCTLD say that I am universal acceptance ready? It means that the software of the registry of .ke or even the registrar itself able to handle to collect email addresses from the user, whatever the language is. Maybe it's Arabic email address or Chinese email address. The software able to validate such kind of email addresses or domain names correctly, code processes, store it inside the database correctly, and display it correctly. And of course, for the registry and for registrar, maybe one of the domain names that I own and maybe I need to renew it. So the registry itself should be able to send me a notification at my internationalized email address that I need to renew this domain name. My domain name is already expired and the registry need to send me a notification. Maybe the registry need to send me a promotion email about what is going on for .ke as a kind of promotion. How could this registry send me an email to my internationalized email address? It means that the software, the GUI itself, should be universal acceptance ready, and the email servers attached to this application should be universal acceptance ready as well and able to handle such kind of email addresses sent to or receive from. Maybe I am not all of these. Maybe I am hosting provider. Maybe I am ISP and offer hosting services and I offer services, email services. How could I host or have mailbox in Arabic word at the time that I am not universal acceptance ready? I am losing business. How could the university admission system handle the Chinese guys who need to subscribe for the classroom online or apply for admission with his Chinese email address? The same for Arabic, the same for French. I know that I visited Nairobi maybe 5 times ago, 5 times before. I saw many nationalities. How could this nationality join the university admission system with their own Chinese or Japanese or Arabic email addresses? How could the international user register to have e-visa from Kenya online at the time that the e-visa system for Kenya is not universal acceptance ready? All of these applications should be configured or adopted to be universal acceptance ready. At this moment, do you have any question, any clarification needed? Am I missed something to say? Any comment? Any news? Something? Just say hi. No problem for me. Okay, let's go for the next slide. The standard web application architecture. Here I am away from recognizing the tiers in how to make the application universal acceptance. I took the generic ones here. Actually, the first one here that the user, maybe it's browser, whatever the browser is, uh, went to the application, for example, the registry interface for .ke for Kinect, and wanted to register for a domain name. So he opened the interface. Of course, I need if I am Arabic, this if there is an interface, Arabic interface for .ke registry, I will use, for example, I will use the Arabic domain name for the Arabic content .ke registry website, and I add my email addresses in Arabic. So the front end application will collect the data from the user. This front end should able to accept such kind of domain names or email addresses. And of course, most of the applications that already exist here use, for example, React, Node.js, or Ajax, try to validate immediately that this email address is valid or not, whatever it is a client-side validation or back-end validation. The client-side validation like JavaScript. So if you write your application to use JavaScript, you need to change or modify this JavaScript triggering expression to accept such kind of domain names or email addresses that have the categories of domain names or email addresses affected by universal acceptance. Maybe you are using a back-end validation. You need to go to the server using Ajax or call one of the methods at the backend, like React, Node.js or React. You need to go to the backend and check if this domain name or email address is valid or not. So you need to change both validation methods you are using for your application in order to accept such kind of domain names and email addresses. Of course, accept and validate should be combined. You need to accept at the time you need to make more validation. Maybe one of the developer will say that I don't need to make any kind of validation. I am just collecting email addresses and send the promotion. If one of these email addresses is not valid, I will receive an error which is not important for me. But most of the application like e-visa system, like HTTPS request systems, you need to add domain name and email addresses validated 100% successfully. The time you are, for example, you are logging to your application using Arabic email address and the Arabic email address or Chinese email address and the password. When you log in, you need to see your email address. It will be displayed as you rotate. It's very important. So this is for the backend. For the backend, for front end. For the backend, front end send requests. Maybe this request to validate the data entered by the user and have a back response after these validations that will be done by the backend system, or you need to send these details to the backend to store it and display it again as a confirmation for the user that you logged in successfully and this user is already registered our system. So now we need to have at the backend, we need the backend also to accept such kind of domain name and email addresses, able to validate such kind of email addresses, store this data inside the database or the file system correctly using a driver that supports UTF-8 for the database that support UTF-8, and able the backend should allow to process such kind of domain name and email addresses, search, insert, update, and delete for these email addresses correctly. And as a return back, the data that will be results to be displayed for the user to be displayed correctly. I think it will be confused here. How could it will be displayed correctly? Maybe one of the developers says that I need to store the data, the domain name and the email addresses in A label format inside the database, not in U label format. So the A label form once the A label format generated from the database, the application itself, the interface itself should translate it into you label the normal word that could be seen or recognized by the client or by the customer itself. For example, if you are a DNS administrator, domain administrator at your organization, the email and the interface for the DNS management itself, if it is written all of them in the A-label format, I will not know, I will not be able to know that this A-label is related to the Chinese one. This domain name is related to Chinese too. I want to recognize this. So it must be displayed correctly as it's written by the user. If it is written by the user, even in the A-label format, it should be displayed in U format, U-label format for the user again. You should be care about all of this. Be away from confusability that will be happen for the user. You know, I am ex IBM. One of the requirements that I have from the analyst before developing the application that I will have UA sheet, user acceptance sheet. One of the goals of say UA sheet that I need to satisfy or comply with the satisfaction rules for the customers. How could I make my customer satisfied at the time? I displayed a label or non-recognized text for the customer. The time, for example, I wrote Abdulmanam in Arabic. I want to see it in Arabic, Abdulmanam, but I will see it XN dash dash ABCD, something like this. How come? Even if I wrote it at XN dash dash UA, something like this, I need it to be displayed for the customer as the normal Unicode word. That is why here I consolidate every criteria for all of these into the front end and the back end. And after that, maybe your back end application need to send an email as a kind of confirmation or as a kind of promotion, whatever, to this intentionalized email address user. So your email server should be universal acceptance ready. How to make your email server to be universal acceptance ready? It will be after a while. At this moment, anyone have any question? Any question? Okay, next slide. Here, what is the standard mail environment architecture? The normal email architecture. The user itself here, which is considered MUA, mail user agent, that may be considered a web application, desktop application like Outlook, RoundCube, whatever, and the email server that will act as MTA, mail transmission agent, while sending an email, and act as a delivery agent while receiving an email from other mail transport agent. Let's go for the sending and the receiving. Here at the one as the user at the left will consider as MUA. When he opens the client and adds the email address, for example, Caroline at Kenya.ke. Yeah, add this inside the text field for the email user agent and click submit. This email, Caroline at Kenya.ke, will went to the mail server. The mail server will collect the part of the domain name of the mail address, Kenya.ke, and check the DNS if what is the mail address of this domain name, Kenya.ke. The DNS, if it is already there, will arrive, for example, by mail.kenya.ke. And this is the IP address of this mail server. And at this time, this mail server of the mail user agent, the sender, will go directly to the mail transport agent of the receiver. and ask you, I want to send you the message. So at this time, there is another module called mail delivery agent that will collect and download the message from the sender and deliver it to the mail user agent with its the destination. Actually, all of these circles here, all of these arrows, according to protocol. Sending email, the protocol is called Simple Mail Transport Protocol, SMTP. For MDA, mail delivery agent, it is called POP3 or IMAP. SMTP, it is normal one. It is used to send an email. But the difference here for MDA, for POP3 or IMAP, if you want to keep copy of the email messages at the server and access this emails message from more than one location, you need to use IMAP. If you want it to be used by one application, you need to go for POP3. For example, my organization, the organization I'm working in, I have two laptops and I have my desktop at my organization. All of them have all the email, typical emails. It's the same. So my organization use IMAP. It means that all the messages are stored at the server. The time I delete it from the server, the time it will be disappeared from other laptops or other desktops. But for POP3, the time the message delivered from the server to the client, it will be deleted from the server. It will be at only one machine. That's the difference. So we need to be clear about which protocol you are targeting. Yeah, I see something at the chat. Yeah, okay. Any question till the moment? Any questions? Now I covered the 5 verbs of universal acceptance readiness: accept, validate, store, process, and display. And talk a little bit about the standard in our environment architecture for email system. Now I will go into depth for the 5 verbs for universal acceptance readiness. Here, for accept, it means accepting occurs whenever an email address or domain name is received as a string of characters from a user interface or from a file or from API. How come from API? Maybe like ATM calling to other ATM machine. It's the API talk to other APIs. Maybe I'm collecting these email addresses or domain name from other APIs by a software application or online service. Here, for example, the first one, I am trying to add domain name uasg.tech and my email address agalila@uasg.tech. This is a valid email address. It should be accepted by interface. The other one, the second screen from left, it is, I think it is, I don't know what is the language, it's Indian, one of the Indian language, and for domain name and for email addresses. And the third one for Arabic domain name and Arabic email addresses. And the last one is English email addresses, but using one of the generic top-level domain names that is more than 3 letters, .pharmacy. It's for accept. So for validate, validation may occur in many places whenever an email address is a domain name is either received or omitted as a string of character by an application or an online service. Here, for example, me personally, I prefer to use regular expression. But there are different versions of regular expression. If you are using the old-fashioned regular expression, my advice, be away from it. It's not universally accepted. But the new version of regex, I couldn't remember the version correctly, but the new trend and the new version of regex could be used to validate the integer's email address correctly. For example, here I wrote it here, the regular expressions that I am using, and I'm added different kind of email addresses. Already Arabic, email addresses in Arabic, email address in Chinese, email address in Japanese, email addresses in what in ASCII, email address in U label. All of them are accepted and marked to be validated. So it means you could use such kind of regular expression to validate your email addresses. And here at the end of the regular expression, I add two comma. It means two or above. Maybe for example, my email address is sarwat@tra.gov.eg, ends by .eg, two letters. Maybe other one is sarwat.xyz.pharmacy, more than two letters. So this expression is already adapted in order to be used for universal acceptance readiness validation. This other kind of this is I am checking here this some pieces of code that check if this domain name is already valid or not. The first one, the above one, is valid TLD. I am went to the IANA database, the root zone, and check if this file exists, is this top level domain name exists in root zone or not. If it is there, it is valid. If it's not there, it's not valid. The other one, I am checking if the email server, the MX record, exists for this domain name of this email address or not. If it's already there, it is valid. This is for validation. The other one, I need to, for Arabic language, for example, or in general, it is not a good practice to mix different context of email addresses. As I said before, how could you read the email address as a person? How could the application read the email address as a person at the time that some of the part of the email address is Arabic, right to left, and the other one left to right? How could it be read? So here, one of the pieces of code here, I check if this is a mix between different check if there is a mixture between right to left or left to right in the email address or not. How could I do that? You need to check the code points of each character of these characters of the email addresses. At this time, you will, for example, if you found one letter that is right to left and one letter is left to right, it's not a good practice to use something like this. That's why I have two methods here in order to check this validation. For the other one, I need to check if the characters count of the label, character count for a label, the new trend, is not limited to is it 2055? Now it's up to 25.5, 255. But 255 for the A label one of this code. Not, I mean, 255 A label characters, including XN dash dash, not the Unicode characters. Maybe the Unicode characters, maybe they are 3 Unicode characters, but at the time they are transformed into the A label as compatible encoding characters for the DNS, it will be more than 10 characters. So these 10 characters I am talking about here shouldn't be more than 255 after transformation. Process, as I said, process means I need to select a feature from the data I already stored that will be happened after a while. Store, it means you need to select the proper database that all of them support UTF-8, like we indicated here. It is one of the encoding scheme. It is UTF-8, and the data is stored itself inside the database, which is Unicode. The display, the data should be displayed as it was written by the user itself. Of course, I am here. There are a lot of open source code by Universal Acceptance Testing Group at GitHub. You could use for Java, for Python, for Perl in order to make your application universal acceptance ready. So don't be stuck that I'm using here Java, but there are other languages that are available at GitHub by UAG in order to make your application to be universally accepted. For email server, to how to make your application, your mail server to be universally accepted. Here, as I said before, there are some, I don't know what makes this line, uh, that there are billions of emails sent and received daily. There are billions of email user accounts increased from year to year. The online content increased for non-English are increasing for the future and keep going ahead more and more. If you want to check if your email server is EI ready or not, you could go to uag.tech and check if your mail server is EI ready or not. Here, what are the goals of email system? What are the universal acceptance goals for email system? I need to make the ASCII sender Masha at uag.tech to send an email to ASCII recipient, the English email, other English email addresses, and also send to the Arabic email addresses like Abdul Manam. And me as Abdul Manam with my Arabic email address could able to send to English email address and also send to other languages email addresses. That is the UA goals for email systems. This is one of the demos in how to make your application and how to make your email environment to be universally accepted or EI ready. Actually, here, this is a consistent environment. If you look here, that you'll find in the address bar, it is domain name in Arabic. Accessing the interface, the MUA using Arabic username and password. Yeah, here, the email address here is an Arabic email address. Pure Arabic email address, no mixture between different context here. All the email addresses here are right to left email address. So I need to send an email address from my integralized email address to another French email address. Not only French email address, but also French email address and use new generic top level domain names. This is a testing environment. So the mail address is already received here and recorded here. It's recorded at the sent items at my Arabic email address. And now I logged into the French email address that have new generic top level domain example. And I saw here that it received an email address from the Arabic email address here. Both of them are different email environment, by the way. So here, the French email address with new generic top level domain name need to reply to my email, keeping himself CC. So the email, message received here at the Arabic email address of me. And there is another example that I am using my email address that have .email top level domain name, the new generic top level domain name, and try to send an email to the Arabic email address and the Unicode email address that is in French using new generic top level domain names. And here at my Arabic email address, I received the email from new generic top level domain name of the email address. And even at the French one, I received it as well. Here it's really recorded. Actually, I don't want you to be stuck here as I will cover all the details and how to make this email environment to be universal accessibility after a while. I won't go for the issues that are related to CCLDs. I already covered here the roles of different stakeholders. Yeah, this is the first slide, and soon I share the next slide for today. Just a second. Till I share my screen, Do we have any more questions that we need to elaborate more? Any questions? Any questions? I am waiting for questions.
Yes, I'm checking.
I have an echo. Sorry for that.
Anyone with a question? Maybe as they ask a question, I have a question. I am using maybe a domain where I can fill a form online, but that form does not accept an ASCII email. What is the process of ensuring that that form I'm filling online on my site that is not UA ready? What is the process of making it UA ready?
Excellent question, by the way. Excellent question. Thank you for that. Actually, there are test cases published at the UAG.tech website documentation section. These test cases contain a variety. These test cases contains a variety of domain names and email addresses that you could use in order to test your web form if it is universal acceptance ready or not. This variety of test cases in different languages, so you could copy it and paste at your application and try to submit. If it is not accepted by your application, it means there are something missed that should be configured by your developer, software developer, in order to make it universal acceptance ready. If all these test cases your application pass from it, it means that your application is 100% universal acceptance ready. But take care that for web form, it's good, but you still need to configure or adopt universal acceptance at your email server as well. And I will share after I finish sharing this slide, I will share you the link for the test cases that already published at UG.tech. I hope I add this to coaching.
Anybody with a question?
Yeah, if you have any question, I am waiting for you now.
I think there is one who is asking about the sharing of your presentation and maybe other presentations that were done in the morning. Probably
Yeah, sure, I will somewhere.
with us that we can share with those who need this presentation. I think it was very helpful, and for the audience who are here, they are making a lot of notes because these are technical training.
Yeah, actually, to be honest, if I could take days to speak about universal acceptance, IDN, and AI. So, due to the limited time we have for Universal Acceptance Day, I try to make it in executive points. Actually, for example, here in Egypt, we conduct a hackathon about universal acceptance for university students. And at this hackathon, we have email server configured for AI, and they have application which is not universal acceptance ready, and the students make this application universal acceptance ready and have some competition between of them, and we have something really I am proud of that. And I hope maybe next year or after a while we have something for Kenya like this hackathon, and I am sure of this. And for sure, I will share all the slides with our colleague from ISOC immediately after I finish the slides for today.
Gideon Mutebe, I think answered that for you. Gideon, I think that has been answered. You can get the material for today's training through one of us. I think we will, you will share with us your contact so that we can be able to share with you. I don't know whether we have anybody who could be having a question, either maybe from the online participant or from the physical participants. Maybe as they prepare for a physical or maybe for a question, I would like to know, myself, I'm a member of USG and I belong to working groups. That is UACOM and UA Tech. So could you kindly elaborate to us, maybe how can we get involved, especially with the USG, so that we can be able to learn? I believe there are very many opportunities there via the USG that many of us can be able to participate, because we are mixed up. I think the number of students are few here. So most of us, maybe we would like to be involved and become active participants in the ICANN community, probably through UASG.
Yes, thank you, Samuel, for this question. Actually, it is very important to answer this question by at the moment and before the end of Universal Acceptance Day. Actually, I am Universal Acceptance Ambassador. What is Universal Acceptance Ambassador? What are the rules? How to become Universal Acceptance Ambassador? Why Universal Acceptance Steering Group looking for more ambassadors, especially from Africa? Actually, the word Universal Acceptance from the early beginning, we have limited number of supporters. We have, you could say that awareness maybe so awareness level was so low. So we need to reach out to the local communities. So UAG opened the program of Universal Acceptance Ambassador. Me, for example, ambassador from Egypt. We have other one from Benin, Malik. We have Dr. Abdul Karim from Nigeria. We have different Universal Acceptance Ambassador in Africa and different parts of the world. We have Universal Acceptance Ambassador. So, what is the role of this ambassador to increase awareness at their local communities? To join the activities for Universal Acceptance Day, for the training, for the events organized by Universal Acceptance Steering Group, maybe within the local community or even outside the local community. How could UASG support this Universal Acceptance Ambassador? Actually, you have a budget from UASG in order to be used for your travel and for your hotel accommodation and for your team, in order to help UAG to do its mission to increase awareness and to increase awareness for all different stakeholders in your own local communities related to universal acceptance. So it is important. So it's important. Sorry, there is an echo from your side. So it is important to consider applying for Universal Acceptance Ambassador. You just go online and fill in the form and send this form to a UA program at uag.tech and try to be helpful for UAG. Try to have a plan before submitting an application to be Universal Acceptance Ambassador in order to join our activities for Universal Acceptance. This is one of UAG to be a Universal Acceptance Ambassador. Other work, you maybe want to join the different work groups within Universal Acceptance Steering Group. For me, for example, I am interested in email address internationalization. I am interested in the topics of email addresses. So I am one of the email address internationalization work group and also the vice chair of email address internationalization work group. So maybe you are looking about technology, you're looking about the technical gaps that are already in the software. You need to collect it and remediate this gap. You could go for one of the group of UAG, which is called technology work group, technical work group. You could join them. There is other work group related to measurement work group that is makes the measures or evaluate the software and say that this software is need to be adopted, need to be configured, need to be a universal acceptance ready. Maybe these tools need to be universal acceptance ready and evaluate tool. You could go for a measurement work group. Maybe you want to make for the coordination For the activities for Universal Acceptance Steering Group, you could join Universal Acceptance Coordination Work Group and make promotion, explanation video, something like this. So there are a lot of ways in order to join Universal Acceptance Steering Group, and also without joining Universal Acceptance Ambassador Program, without joining Universal Acceptance Work Group, you could join to our discuss mailing list. You could go to uag.tech and add your email address and subscribe. So all the emails that are interchanged through this mailing list will be received from your side. After a while, you could see what these people, what this community member is talking about. After that, you could decide which work group I am interested in, which work group I will help in. Maybe I could help as Universal Assistant Ambassador. Maybe I could help as coordination member. Maybe I could help as a technical. So the first step, go to USU.Tech, subscribe for the mailing list, and select which work groups you would like or you have interest to join in. Or if you would like to be an ambassador like me, you could join the ambassador program. Just fill application and write it please from your passion, not just write a document for your manager and submit it. I hope I answered the question. Of course, I will share my email address and the contact number. So any question, I will happy to answer. And this is not the end. Today, not the end for our conversation. It is the start for our communication that will be held maybe after days, after months, after years, in order to cooperate for the next billion internet user to be accessed online. I hope I answered your question somewhere.
Yes.
Any more questions do you have at the floor? I couldn't hear you, by the way.
Abdal, we have answered my questions successfully and well. So maybe from the physical audience, do we have any question? Maybe anyone with any question? I cannot see any question from the participants who are here physically. Maybe from the online, do we have anybody who could be having a question from the online audience? Maybe I know I have a few people here. I know they are programmers and probably they are designing sites. Probably Abdal, maybe you could also, I believe you talked about how somebody can be able to validate a website, whether it's a URL, maybe you can still post that link to them so that they can directly be able to see it and be able to validate probably any of their applications or maybe site they are developing. I know it's quite elaborate and many people were following up. Probably if you could be able to share those links maybe on the chat, probably they can pick up and be able to validate their emails.
Thank you, Samuel. Actually, it is, I don't know, this good question why I have all of this today. It is, I am so happy to have to receive this kind of question. Actually, there is a technical recommendation, for.
Okay, Abdal, you can continue. I think I have been informed, so probably you can kindly wind up.
Yeah, I already covered what I would like to say, but I assumed that as the time here in Egypt it is 2 p.m. and assume that it is the same at Kenya. But I think I already covered what I would like to say for today. But what I would like to answer for the last question about the validation or how to validate domain name or email addresses to be the correct one in a standard way recommended by Universal Acceptance Steering Group. There is a technical specification published in order to how to make your website to be Universal Acceptance ready in details at uag.tech website. and I will download this document, and I will get you the link and share it with all of you. It's my pleasure to have something like this.
Thank you very much, Abdal. I think we do not have more questions. As is just to thank you for that very technical session that we have had. I think from the physical audience, I cannot see any question. And I think we can come to the end of that technical session. And probably we can clap. We can clap for Abdal. So all of us physically and online. Thank you very much. And we have learned a lot from you, and especially most of us who are new. Myself, I'm also an ICANN fellow. I have attended 2 ICANN fellowship, and some of these things probably I've had them and I've been trained. I'm also a member of Afraro, and we're also having maybe another UA training with Afraro. So probably those of us who are member of Afraro, or maybe they are not members. So we have so many other UA training that are going on in Africa and across the world. So you can go to UASG and check the UA Day 2025, and you'll get very many other trainings that are going on, and they are different trainings. So with that, maybe we can go to the next session. I think Abdal has posted a document that we had requested on behalf of the people who are here and those of us who are attending online for the purpose of familiarizing ourselves and also for awareness, and especially for those of us who are maybe developers and those of us who deal with websites and emails to ensure that our emails are UA ready and our website are UA ready. Okay, so in case of any other maybe follow-up question, we will be able to share with Abdal in case we have more questions coming that are technical and that are supposed to be answered by Abdal or maybe Barak from ICANN, who was here in the morning. We will share with the members of ISOC and any other member who is here. So right now, we want to go to the final session. The final session is on QA. I think our time is almost up, so we want to go to the final session of Q&A, general Q&A. I believe I had a few questions from the physical attendee who are here, and maybe I would like to call upon my other colleagues who are here to help me answer those questions. Probably I would ask them because they are our students here at ZTech University, and others are students from maybe neighboring universities, because we have a student from ZTech, student from JQuat, student from multimedia, and several other universities and institutions who are joining us here. And one of the questions that I was asked by this student who are here is, how can they become members of ISOC? So that is one question that I was asked. Probably Madam Caro or Dr. Rono, you can help, or maybe Bwana Jacob Bumi, you can also help me on the same. So the question is, how can maybe people become members of ISOC? Number two, what does ISOC do? Because one of the students told me that he's into cybersecurity, and he wanted to know whether do we host CTF sessions, or maybe what do we do as ISOC? Since I'm a member here at ZTech University, so the student, maybe even if I talk to them, they may not listen to me much than you. Probably when it comes from you, it may sound far better than when it comes from me. So maybe we can answer those two questions. And then in case we have any other question from the audience, so we are just on general questions. Kindly ask them, including those of us who are joining online, so that we can be at par with what ISOC does and what is our mandate. Because right now we are at a session whereby audience would like to know what we do, because I think there are those of us who joined a bit late, they did not hear the same. So Bwana Jacob Ngumi, you can kindly come here and answer the question to the audience. The audience, we will take a very short period of time to wind up this session once we finish with the Q&A. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I think today you have learned a lot. And if there are any questions, maybe we can receive them. Maybe to respond to the two which have been asked in a short while. I'm Jacob Gumi. I am the chair of membership at ISOC Kenya. And my work is basically to get new members on board. So what you need to do for any new member joining ISOC, you log into a global website of ISOC, which is www.isoc.org. Then you go to the icon, get involved. Then you go down there, you log in to be a member. Then after doing that, you register online, get a membership ID, not national ID, membership ID to be a member of ISOC. Then from there, you will be able to send us your details, your name and your membership ID, so that we put you on the WhatsApp platform. Then we have a WhatsApp group for the Kenyan ISOC chapter, where we get members on board. We share a lot of information on that WhatsApp group. That WhatsApp group has details about maybe any current information about internet society. We also have trainings by other bodies. We have Kenya ICT Network, who's also a partner for ISOC. We have community networks, Association of Kenya, where you can also join. So you get a lot of information cutting across the ICT sector in Kenya by being a member of the WhatsApp group. The other one also, you also benefit. I'm just going through the benefits actually. So you join the WhatsApp for sharing information. Training seminars are all there in the WhatsApp. But the main benefits of joining ISOC basically are four. One is you get a lot of trainings, and Dr. Rono will tell us which trainings are these, apart from the one of today, the others, because Dr. Rono is the chair of the Technical and Research Committee. We also have number two, we also benefit from networking from colleagues in the sector, in the ICT sector in Kenya and internet sector. You also get information relevant for your academic and career work. And number five, you are able to participate in global events and competitions. So when you go to the global website of ISOC, you see the benefits, they are listed there. The other thing also is that the students, you can see the students are allowed to join, you don't have to wait to graduate to join. And you are welcome to be a member of ISOC Kenya. Any other question before I go to the next steps? The next steps is vote of thanks, which are coming up.
We have more questions. I think
The chat.
So what we have said is this, there's one who has a question. She will just join the Zoom and ask the question there. The other one will come here physically and ask the question from here. So what we have said is, those of us who are able to join Zoom, like my friend there, you can ask your question. And then the other one who has not joined, can just come here physically and ask your question here, so that those who are online, they can also hear and see you also.
Okay, thank you. We can start with the one online.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you. My question is, are there any training programs or resources available locally to help developers integrate your principles into their systems?
Thank you. That's a good question. Maybe Dr. Rono, you can that question up for that. Maybe we hear the rest, then you also respond. If the fiscal question can also come up.
You can ask your question again.
Sorry.
Ask your question once more.
Sure. Are there training programs or resources available locally to help developers integrate UA principles into their systems?
Developers on their programs.
Developers. Okay, the training programs offered by Internet Society are related to the growth of the internet. Yeah, so you find courses like encryption, designing and deploying computer networks, building wireless community networks. There is also one on network operations, internet governance. Yes, just to name but a few. Yeah, there is also internet security. Yeah, if you want to see the courses offered by the Internet Society, once you register to be a member, you just go to learning. So on the screen there, I've shown you how to become a member. Just go to internetsociety.org and then they can see up there, become a member. Then you'll be able to register. Once you register, you can use the same credentials. Then you go to learning.internetsociety.org, and then you'll be able to find the courses that are on offer. So they are on offer periodically, let's say January, and then maybe the next one would be May, June, then another would be like September. But sometimes there are also courses which are offered on demand, like for a specific country or a specific group. An Internet Society can offer. Yeah, so it's usually online where you do modules online, which have been developed. Plus also there are some webinars that you attend, which they are called live sessions. Okay. So what is really the Internet Society all about? So the Internet Society is about making sure that the internet helps people. Okay. Yeah, that the internet helps people. Okay. Yeah, the internet is very useful, but the other thing is that the internet does not reach many people. So the Internet Society tries to also to bridge that gap to ensure that the internet reaches many people. Okay, and once it reaches them, they can also make use of that internet, and that's why there is training. So the Internet Society also offers grants for like for community networks. If you want to provide connectivity, you can create a community network, and you can apply for grants to the Internet Society, and they offer a number of grants, especially for internet connectivity initiatives. So the Internet Society is there to help grow the internet and also protect the internet. So sometimes we hear about split internet, whereby one part of the world want to be form their own internet, so that you have something like split internet. So it's so the Internet Society, there is one global body, but there are also chapters in the various countries. Like in Kenya, then we have our own ISOC chapter, and many other countries also have their own ISOC chapter. So the impact becomes bigger because it's not just a global body, but there are even local chapters in various countries. Like here now in Kenya, we have a Internet Society local chapter where you can discuss issues affecting us, and we can also discuss how can impact people. Okay, so today we are being trained about universal acceptance. That's a way of bridging the digital divide and making sure that the internet can be useful for everyone. Yeah, so yeah, also the Internet Society is there to, like I've said, to protect the internet, to make sure that the policies that are being developed across the world by various bodies are also in line to make sure that the internet grows, not policies that will hamper the growth of the internet or will hamper protocols that are being used for the success of for the internet. Okay, yeah. I believe I've addressed the two questions. What is Internet Society? And yes, what are some of the benefits of benefits of being Internet Society? Yes, you become a member, we can be able to network like we do here. There's a WhatsApp group, we are able to network in that WhatsApp group. You get to learn about opportunities, okay, which are there. You can organize for training events once you become a member, okay? Yeah, and then membership chair is right here, okay?
We have a question from a colleague here. as it comes, Joe Locomoli is online. Joe Locomoli is the treasurer of ISOC, and he's saying we also have programs on universal acceptance readiness, like today's program. Thank you, Okomoli.
Okay. Good afternoon. Okay, I'm Billy from ZTech here, a student. First question, how will you ensure that phishing attacks does not affect a website domain since the domain be converted as to local language? Then the second one, what kind of skills and experience qualifies a person to serve as a trustee in ISOC?
Thank you so much. Maybe Catherine Macharia? No, Caroline Macharia and Irene Misoi. You have to answer that? The one on fishing, the question on fishing. Then someone will answer the one on trustees, how to be a member of trustees. Someone Kariuki from ZTech is a member of the trustees of ISOC Kenya, and you'll answer that question. As they prepare, Caro and Irene, we can now Kariuki answer.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm also a trustee at the Internet Society of Kenya, and if you want to become a trustee, you can vie. So you vie, and if members of the community elect you, you can become a member. For you to vie, you must be a member of Internet Society for 1 year. So for you to be able to vie, I think you have to be a member for 1 year. 1 year. So the 1 year.
1 year.
And myself, I have served for the last 2 years, and you can serve for a maximum of 2 years. So if you feel that you can be able to do something for the community, like myself, you can become maybe an official there by vying, only if you are a member for 1 year and you are an active member, not just but a member who is there. We need people who are active, maybe people who have a lot of transparency and trustworthiness. Maybe I would also add to add something on to what was asked. So you through the ISOC Global, they normally have also a fellowship. So you can also join that fellowship program. I think that fellowship program is still going on, it's still open. You can join and learn. And through the ISOC group, so there's a lot of material that we post there. Like myself, let me talk about myself. Myself, I was able to become to see opportunities for the ICANN fellowship through the ISOC group. I just saw a post there and I applied, and I was able to go to Netherlands for a fellowship program back in 2022. So basically we post opportunities there, and there are very many opportunities which are there out. So yours is to grasp them, run with them, and by the end of the day, you will be able to run. So thank you.
Thank you so much. As the second question is being answered, for you to be a member of ISOC, you need to have been a member for the last 1 year. To be elected, you need to be a member for the last 1 year. So, and then you serve a term of 2 years. It's not about the trustee position available. There are many positions available. There is a president, there is a vice president, there is a secretary general, there is a treasurer, there is a trustees who are around 3. Then there is a chair of membership, chair of media and publicity, and chair of technical and research. So that's the composition of the executive of ISOC chapters, or ISOC chapter Kenya. Joel Okomoli is online. He's saying also, you can serve for 2 years and 1 term renewable. So you can serve for a maximum of 4 years, then you leave. As an official, but you can still remain a member. You don't have to leave ISOC. You leave as an official, but remain a member after 2 terms of 2 years each. Thank you. Who is answering the question of fishing? Abdal. Okay, he's online. Eh?
Yes, I am here.
Yes.
Yeah, could I jump in, please? Yeah, can you hear me?
Continue?
Yes, please.
Yes.
I can hear you. Actually, for the questions that are related to that is related to phishing attacks from using international email addresses. Actually, the same modules of softwares and the same protocol used for ASCII or English email addresses is the same as the one used for intentionalized email addresses. So if there is an attack for the ASCII or phishing or any kind of attacks for ASCII systems, ASCII email system, it will be the same if email address internationalization systems as well. So both of them are same. The difference in how to configure your firewall or anti-spam to accept such kind of email addresses. You need to change or upgrade or update the software of your firewall in order to recognize this kind of email addresses as a valid email addresses. But for any attacks, both of them are the same. At the time you are trusting your ISP, you are trusting your email host provider. So the same, you will trust again your hosting provider to provide you with international email addresses. Don't be shy against any using international email addresses. The time you will have some fears from using international email addresses, the time you are not following the best practices or the rules of Internet Engineering Task Force. One of the best practices is not to make any mixture between different context scripts for the same email address. This one. The other one is related to the attacks that are related to the letters that look similar but different Unicode points. I mean, for example, you could write, for example, Anushka in English that have letter A. This letter A could be in other scripts with the same shape but in different Unicode points. Different code point, which will be considered Unicode. The same attacks will be considered for ASCII, the same for AIs. So you need to follow the rules of best practices and IETF for both ASCII email addresses and international email addresses. That is why I said that we need to eliminate the word ASCII and internationalize, as both of them are email system and both of them rely on the point that are related to security issues. Both of them are the same. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. I hope everybody has got the message, the reply from Abdal. About joining membership, the link, for those who are online, the link is online. Dr. Ken Rono has posted the link online. You can log in and become a member of ISOC. Someone is asking, can someone get internship from the organization? I think so. We have internship. And also I believe some of our members who are members of ISOC, some of members of ISOC run companies, on ICT companies in Kenya. We can offer internship to some of our students who are graduating. That is possible. Based on that then, if there are no more questions, I would like to move to the next session, which is the closing remarks. And before that, any question? Any other question as we wind up? Okay, thank you so much. So we need to hear some responses on the benefits of today's training from our video students. We need to get at least 3 or so. We have students from JKU Art, we have ZTech, and we also have a Multimedia University student. Maybe, yes, we can hear from ZTech first, then we go to JUCAT, then we go to Multimedia. Any student who has learned something, maybe you tell us 1 or 2 lines of what you have learned today. Any volunteer? We can also have another category of those who are also working, who might not be even members of ISOC. They can also give some comments. Thank you. Even the ones online can also give some feedback. We can also hear from them. Even students who are also online can also give some remarks. So we have Multimedia University. we can hear from one of the students. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Whitney Okore from Multimedia University of Kenya. Today I've learned something new from Abdel about the standard web architecture, whereby we have the front end and the back end, and the front end consists of the display, and then the back end we have the file systems. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have one here from ZTech, and we also have from JQuat there. So we need your comments.
My name is Arnold Metich. I've learned about universal acceptance and the five verbs of universal acceptance. One being it should be accepted, then validated, then processed, then stored and displayed for everyone else. I've learned how it can be applied on emails and web applications for multilingual acceptance of universal.
Yeah, that one. Asante. Let's clap for him. Thank you so much. We have JQuat.
Hello everyone, my name is David Nyambo from JQuat. Today has been an engaging session. I've been a lover of networking since my first year. So today when I came here, I wanted to explore all these things that I've been hearing about networking, and I've really enjoyed the session about universal acceptance, and also interacting with my fellow students from other universities has been quite a learning process for me. Henceforth, I'm going to join ISOC.org as we were told, and I hope this should be a beginning of more opportunities to come. Thank you very much.
Clap for him. Thank you so much. We have any member who's working? Any member who's working? Gender balance. Yes, gender balance or somebody who's working, you can have one level. I think you are one of them. You can do it. Yeah, come. Or you can do it online. Okay, thank you.
So good afternoon once again. My name is Miriam. Currently, I'm not working, but I'm in cybersecurity. So I've learned a lot about user acceptance, how to be ready for our systems to be able to accept the generic domains. And most importantly, I've learned a new word, splinternet. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's clap for her. Thank you so much. Just to make some remarks, that we had our community network summit, which was held last month for 3 days at Oasis Center in Mathare. For three days we were there, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And members of that community benefited a lot from community networks, which is one of our flagship projects. I want now to come to the closing remarks. But before I do that, we need to hear from Irene Misoi, just one word. From Caroline Macharia, one word. They are members of the Technical and Research Committee of ISOC. So that what do you think is the way forward regarding today's session? And from there, we shall end with my closing remarks, and we pray and call it a day.
My name is, you can hear. My name is Irene Misoi. My name is Irene Misoi, and I just want to encourage the students to get involved with the activities in the internet society. There's so much to gain from it, from the trainings to just interacting, like in today's training. There is so much that has been talked about universal acceptance, which I know a lot of us have gained in it. So let's be active. It's the only way you can be able to grow in your careers in computing. The other thing is to get engaged with community networks. Let's take internet to the rural communities where internet has not reached, because that is one of the goals of internet society. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's clap for her. Thank you. Next is Karen Macharia.
Okay. Good evening. Good evening. Kama mmechoka sana hamwezi nijibu. Okay, so I just want to take this opportunity to thank all of you for attending this auspicious function. And I really like that we've been together since we started at around 9:30. You've stayed with us all through, considering that it's on a Saturday. Sometimes you expect some people to disappear, but you've been with us throughout, and that shows me that you have a lot of passion for knowledge and to learn. And I'm happy to note that you've learned a lot. And as Dr. Rono said, ISOC has a lot of opportunities for us. If you have a passion in networks, there's something for you. If it is cybersecurity, if it is building networks, community networks, I mean, where else can you get such free opportunities? So I just want to encourage you to join the ISOC community. The next time you might be the ones organizing an occasion like this one or an event like this, and there is really a lot to learn. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next event. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's clap for her. What the slogan, the main slogan of ISOC is Internet for Everyone. That means Internet for everyone, not for the tech persons. ISOC is not for those who are tech. Me, I'm not even tech, I'm a social worker. I've done BA in social work, master's in project planning and management. But I'm interested in internet because ICT platforms, because they make my work comfortable and they enable me to move on and use applications in my execution of my programming. So it's not for those who are in tech. It's open for everyone to join ISOC. Internet for everyone basically means ISOC will focus for issues which will enable access, affordability of internet for everyone, even in the village, even from a Maboga, bottom up people and their slums. They also need to use internet for their lives to make economic living. So internet for everyone is a broader meaning and a slogan for ISOC. The other thing also you need to notice that is in ISOC, you will be able, when you join, you are able to interact and benefit a lot. Don't worry about the numbers. I understand today there was exams, so many students are not able to attend. But we were around 52, 26 online, 25 present. So that's a good number to work with. So when you become serious and keen on what ISOC is doing, it will take you far, including where you want to belong in your career path. As we wind up, I would like to thank Barack Otieno. Barack Otieno is Council Maheri, Africa Higher Education Research Institute. They run an ICT platform in Siaya County and Western Kenya and Nyanza. Barack Otieno was a former president, founding president of ISOC Kenya chapter. He was the first presenter in the morning. I'd also like to thank Abdulrahman Abdal Moran Galila for MyCan, Universal Acceptance Ambassador. He has done very well. We need to get the presentations from both of them so that we are able to understand better. Dr. Rono, we need to have those presentations shared with us. I'd also like to thank the organizing committee. The organizing committee comprised of Dr. Rono, the chair of our technical and research committee at ISOC, Orain Macharia, a member of that committee, and Irene Isoi, a member of that committee. Thank you for that. And I would like to thank the host, Samuel Kariuki, who is a trustee of ISOC from ZTech for the commitment you have shown today. And out of all that, we have our outgoing president, President Alphonse Odhiambo, who was not able to be here today, and our Sec General is Rapudo Hawi, who is not present today. They are held up in the village for a burial. So we thank all of you for coming, and we wish you that you will get more info so long as you join ISOC and then you join the WhatsApp group. A lot will be shared there for you. That's the only way you can be able to reach you. So make sure you do that and become a member. We wish you success in your studies and in your workplaces. And when we come again here, we would like to thank ZTEC for hosting us for the lunch and the tea, despite the hard economic times. So we wish you well and safe journey masses to where you came from. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For me, I'll talk on behalf of ZTEC University. My name is Samuel Kinuthia from Kanyuki. For those of us who joined a bit late, I work here at ZTEC University, and on behalf of the ZTEC fraternity, we thank you very much for coming here and being part of this particular event. Those of us who are online and those of us who are here physically, members of Internet Society, and those of us who are not members, we thank you very much for joining. At ZTEC University, as I said, we offer a wide range of courses from a certificate, diploma, master's, and PhD, and we welcome you to join us in our next intake. Our next intake is May. We normally have intakes in January, May, and September. We welcome you for any of our intakes so that you can register for our course. We offer our courses in physically, in blended, and purely online. You can study in any part of the country, and we normally say you can study anytime, anywhere. Therefore, I don't have much to say. I just thank all of us. And right now, I declare that this particular UA Day has come to an end. And I wish you well as you travel back home, as you travel to where you live. And we shall meet again in any other meeting that we shall have. Thank you very much. We can clap for each other. So clap for yourself, clap for yourself. Okay, so we will end with a prayer, and I will request a volunteer. Okay, we have somebody online. Maybe we don't want to close on that. John, do you have something to say or a question? John, I think it's not good to close anyone. John. Okay, so we'll have a prayer from maybe a volunteer, either maybe online. So let's have online, because I think most of us who are talking are here physically. You can raise your hand in case you want to close for us with a word of prayer. Maybe I can appoint, allow me to appoint. So Nathan Muturi, are you there? Can you kindly pray for us? Nathan, you can confirm that you can hear me?
Yes, you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. So kindly close for us with a word of prayer.
All right. Thank you so much for each and every presenter. Thank you so much for this occasion. So we can close with a word of prayer. Our Lord and our Father, we want to thank you for the time that you have given to us. Thank you for the session that, Lord, you enabled us to create, so that together we can learn about internet and how we can be able to be innovative to help in each and every society that requires us. Jehovah, we want to thank you because you have enabled us to attend, you have enabled us to participate. Thank you for the organizers. Thank you for the presenters. Thank you for ISOC. Thank you for each and every person, including them that had wanted to attend, but they did not for one reason or the other. We pray that, Lord, as we come to the end of this session, your blessings may be upon us. Those that are traveling back to their places, we pray for safe journey mercies. Them that are in different parts of this world, we pray that, Lord, as you bless us, they may also receive your blessings. When Jehovah, you gather us back again for another session to learn more, we shall be careful to say thank you. And in Jesus' name, we give thanks and pray.
Amen. 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 So we can unmute and say amen. We can live at our own pleasure. We can network with each other for those of us who are physically here. And also for those of us who are online, you can chat with someone as we come to an end. Thank you.